Hello, hello, hello. Hello there. Hey, Sami. Welcome to the big announcement. Mr. Awaji, welcome, sir. Within the next few minutes, we'll be coming out with the big announcement. And I want to thank you for hopping on. Hey, Brother Gizima, welcome. Welcome to the big announcement. I'm so excited. Hey, cuz, Mr. Dwopo, welcome to the live broadcast. Comrade Fale, welcome, sir. We're just waiting a few more minutes so we can break the news. I'm so excited, I can't wait. And I really, really appreciate you coming on. Welcome. Chuku. Cuz Casey, welcome to this live broadcast. Sister Bali Slobado, welcome. Big announcement coming up shortly. And I really, really appreciate your time. I don't want to keep you waiting. Just thank you for joining. Hey, Sam, all the way from Iowa. Welcome, brother. Sister Grace. Grace, if you can please sing the Lone Star Forever for me later on, I would appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining. And I know it took a little bit, but I wanted to get it right. So that's why it took this long. But finally the time is here, and I'll be making the announcement shortly. Hey, Sabina, welcome to the big announcement. Welcome. Duyon, welcome. Thank you so much for joining, and I want to first, when I first posted, I really thank you for keeping in touch, and you hung in there with me, waiting for this Sunday so that we can go live and make the big announcement. I really, really appreciate your time. I thank you, first of all, for being my friend, and for being so much of a trusted friend that you can come on, that you can listen to me, that you can take up the time to join. I really appreciate it, and I want to thank God for you on this Sunday. First of all, when I made the announcement, there were a lot of guesses. I appreciate that. There were a lot of things that you said. Some said what it was going to be. So without much ado, I want to jump right into it. And thank you so much for joining. And you are my friends, so I don't need to introduce myself. Yaman, welcome. I'm getting a call here. All right. I'm so excited to announce that, first of all, it is not a run for a political office, either in Liberia or here in the United States. This is even more than running for political office. And it's not having children. I got 3 kids already, and that should be enough. But who are we to resist when the Lord bless us with another child? What I'm going to announce is I've been working on the project. Some colleagues and I have been working on the project. And finally, we were able to come up with a book. And here's the book. This is the big announcement. I'm so excited. This is a Liberian civics book. The title of the book is this: The Republic of Liberia, Foundational Words of Our Nation. That's the announcement. I have published books before, but why is it that I'm so excited about this book is why I decided to go live in this public broadcast. This is a Liberian civics book, and the title is The Republic of Liberia, Foundational Words of Our Nation. The foundational words of our nation. If you bear with me, please let me just read on the back of this book, of this little book. You will see the overview. This book was published or is being presented by a group called AHTIA Solutions. This is a nonprofit group called AHTIA Solutions. Published this book, and this is intended to fill the gap of civic education or civic engagement in Liberia. Let me read about the book. It reads: subscribing to the tenet that democracies are sustained by citizens who have the requisite knowledge, skills, and dispositions, AHTIA Solutions has worked on a little book that will empower Liberians to be adequately informed about the documents upon which our country rests. This book contains what we call the foundational words of our nation. Those foundational words include the Constitution of Liberia, the Declaration of Independence, the National Anthem, the Lone Star Forever, the Pledge Allegiance, and of course, we have some questions at the back of the book. Now, we call this book the foundational words of the country or of Liberia because this is the foundation upon which Liberia rests. For every organization coming to being will have a mission. The mission is the purpose of that organization. It is the same understanding that for Liberia to come to being as a country, we have a purpose, and that purpose for Liberia is written in the Declaration of Independence. So what we've done with this little book is we take the Declaration of Independence, which is the purpose for which the country was established. We've taken the Constitution, which is the guide or the fundamental, the supreme laws of Liberia, and put them into this book. We've also taken the National Anthem and the Lone Star Forever, those 2 praise songs, we've taken them and put them into a book. We've also taken the Pledge Allegiance, which is our oath to the country, and make this little book, which is very handy for everybody. What I've also done is we've taken a survey of how many Liberians have ever read the Declaration of Independence, how many Liberians have read the Constitution, How many of us can really sing the national anthem? And the result of the survey will surprise you. But this is not to shame anyone or to say, well, how come you don't know this? This is intended to make the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Pledge of Allegiance, the National Anthem, and all these sacred documents very accessible and easy to read. That's all it is. That's all it is. Because as citizens of this country, the only way democracy functions is when we know our rights, or when we are engaged and we recognize our civic responsibilities and are engaged. Take, for instance, we have democracy where people have to vote. So if we don't vote for our leaders, we don't have a democracy. If citizens do not keep engaged in the democracy, then there is no democracy. And in order for that to happen, we have to put the tools and the right information in the hands of the citizens so that they can be better informed. So that's the purpose that gives rise to the book. And this is a little book. You can ride a train from D.C. By the time you reach Philadelphia, you have read this maybe twice or more. For some of us who went to school in Liberia, I don't know, there were some schools that really were good at civics. I don't know how many of us did civics. And even if we did, how many of us really went over the Declaration of Independence, went over the Constitution, and things of that nature. At the end of the book, we have some questions just to tease your brain. These questions are based on the Constitution, and they are multiple choice questions. Number 1, what is the minimum age a person must be to serve as member of the House of Representatives? A, 18 years, B, 21, C, 25, D, 30. This is not intended for you to memorize, but just to tease your brain. You can, if you don't get it right, you can go by, reread it, and make sure you get it right. The book is already published. It's going to be available on Amazon shortly. We are working on all these things to get the book available on Amazon. On Kindle version, we want to get this in iTunes and your Google Play, to make it very, very much accessible to everybody. The goal here is every Liberian and friends of Liberia should be able to obtain a copy of this book. That's our goal. And we are hoping to partner with the Ministry of Education to make sure that this little book, is taught in all our schools. We want to partner with some civil organization to make sure that this book is taught or is read to somebody. We want to have it, if possible, in various languages so that we can spread the news. That again, in order for us Liberians to understand our purpose, number 1, we need to know our Declaration of Independence. In order for us to understand our fundamental laws of the country, we must be able to have knowledge on the Constitution. It's right here. And for us to feel that pride, because when you pledge allegiance to the flag of Liberia, you are making a solemn oath to the country. To what extent we understand that, but that's the problem. That's the reason we're making this very, very accessible. The price is not yet set. The price is already set, but when we publish on Amazon, we are working on that. Early next week, we should be able to have all our T's crossed and our I's dotted to have this in your hand. What I want you to do is, please be ready. We're going to be coming to a city near you to launch this book. And I will be counting on your support. I will be counting on anything that you can do so that together we will recognize that indeed we come from a country called Liberia that we all need to be proud of. If you listen to the songs or to the wordings in the songs that we sing, the National Anthem, the Lone Star Forever, this talk about the pride of who we are as Liberians, because there is no other country we have. And I want to make reference to Dr. Burroughs, who wrote a book on the history of Liberia, before 1800. And to many of us, that's an eye-opener of really who we are as Liberian. And when I asked him what is the purpose, he said at the end of the day, he wants us to realize that all Liberians, regardless of our ethnic affiliation, we are just one people. Liberians being one people, no matter which tribe or county you come from, we must be able to take pride in our citizenship. We are Liberians, and there is no other country on earth we come from. We are Liberians. And this is a great country, unless we recognize that. When I read the Declaration of Independence, one of the purposes of Liberia is to be an asylum country for people that were oppressed, just like the free slaves that went. But I remember, I don't know how many of us even remember that Liberia is an asylum country. So what we're supposed to be, if we look at our purpose, we should be providing asylum to people that are oppressed all over the world. So when we look at Liberia, when we look at ourselves, do we see that? Do we see that this is a country that when people are suffering in other parts of the world, they can come to Liberia and have solace? I don't remember 1990 if we thought that, because I, for one, I left the country that's supposed to be the place of asylum, and we were seeking asylum all over the place. Permit me to add a little reference from the Bible. You know, in Ruth 1, it says, there came a time that there was famine in Bethlehem. So when there was famine in Bethlehem, there was this guy called Moab. He left with his family. And this guy left with his family and they went into the land of Moab. So, and Bethlehem is supposed to be the house of meat. So here is a house of meat, people leaving the house of meat and going somewhere else. The same way we as Liberians, we left the place of asylum and we were seeking asylum all over the place. So in order for us to build Liberia, in order for us to forge ahead, let's go back to our purpose. And that purpose is in the Declaration of Independence. And for us to remain a stable, independent country, let us look at our Constitution, which is our guide. That's the one that's supposed to guide us. Let's look at that. And so it is my hope, it is my prayer that this little book, every Liberian should be able to read it and really take a step back and say, what does it mean to be a Liberian? What does it mean for me to be a Liberian? What are my responsibilities as a Liberian? What is my civic duty as a Liberian? If we can get that from this little book, AHTIA Solutions have achieved its goal. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. And for the cost of the book, where you can find it, that will be announced shortly. I mean, I was so much excited. I wanted to share this. I mean, my colleagues, all of us, we have not arranged everything here to have everything all set, but I really had to do this. I really had to come out and say, get a copy of this book, tell somebody about it. It's going to be relatively affordable. It's a little book. It's going to be relatively affordable. My goal is you should buy a copy, buy some for friends. If you are sending barrier to Liberia, you can get 10 or 15 copies. Give this as a gift, and together we're going to build this one and only country, Liberia, that we all love. Shalom.